Welcome back to more BS.
I'm Chef Babette.
And I'm Shabnam Islam. And we actually wanted to pick up from where we left off last time. Racism, but racism in veganism. Now, there are many facets of this, right? One of them being forms of accessibility. In communities of color, predominantly, we're seeing that access to fresh fruits and vegetables, farmers markets, good grocery stores is limited. And you will see streets lined with Hardee's, Carl's Jr.,
all the crap,
all the fast food, because it is intended to keep people sick.
And it does.
And it really, really impacts particularly communities of color more. And
it's done on purpose because so many of us humans are ignorant about what we should ingest, because we've taken the word of those people that actually know that what we're ingesting is making us sick, but they're not being fair, because it's all about money.
It is all about money. And remember, like, we also sometimes hear from people of color, well, this is cultural. This is my food. Like, I eat fried chicken. Right. I eat chitlins. I eat these things.
I got to have my meat.
Well, do you know the history of that, right? Can you share with everybody?
Oh, well, there was a time, especially during that period of time when we were enslaved in the United States. Usually we were given, like if there was a pig that had been slaughtered from the master to eat pork chops and ham and those sorts of things, they threw the rest of that animal out. And so the enslaved person took the rest of that animal and found out how to prepare it so we could ingest all of that animal. I've eaten chitlins before. Now, my mother wasn't big on the tails and the ears and the hooves and the tongue and all that. But all of those parts of that pig, that's why we would say we eat the pig from the rooter to the tutor, because we learned to ingest all of that pig to have some flesh. So that's where that came from. But it wasn't healthy. I have cleaned poop. I've cleaned the poop out of the intestines and then boiled them and ate them. That's for sure. But I mean, you know what I'm saying?
And y'all think you're crazy if you eat meat now and think that you're not eating fecal matter, because approximately 80% of chicken breast, beef still has fecal matter in it, which is why we say you have to cook your food.
But they soak chickens as they're slaughtering chickens, getting them prepared to be packaged up. They soak them in poopy water.
Yeah.
So
that's not different for people of color and for white people. No, any of y'all eating meat, that's what you get.
That's the
same.
But
what we're trying to say here is the history of eating things like chitlins and pig feet,
that came out of necessity,
and deep fried chicken. Right. All of that comes from a cultural history rooted in racism. And so when you talk about your culture, but you want to be woke, why are you not choosing to break these systems, these chains that are still linking you to this ancestral slavery just through your palate? You are choosing to live the life of the servant through what you're eating, because...
And we'll tell you, I mean, I got to have my meat. I don't care. I got to have...
At what expense? Like, you guys are so willing to continue to eat this poorly, to be oppressed in this sense.
First of all, knowledge is power.
Right.
Self-love, self-care is also powerful. You have to know what the human species should ingest before you can make, I would say, an intelligent decision on what you're going to eat, period. And that's where we're so, the information is so all over the place.
It is.
It really is on purpose, because confusion...
You know, the USDA even talks about how over 318 million people are really readily confused about what they're being told to eat. The funny thing is the USDA is the one telling the people what to eat.
How about the USDA? How about that? Ooh.
The irony is that the more we confuse you, 8 out of 10 Americans are confused on what to eat. The more that we confuse you, the more that you continue to eat the poison.
Right.
And the more that you continue to eat the poison, the more you're dependent upon medical practices to heal you and help you. But this is all a business. But that, Hippocrates said it best: let food be thy medicine, let medicine be thy food, because it truly is a sense of healing. Power. The power is in your food. So if you're choosing to consistently eat death, it is what your human system will quickly garner itself towards. Yes, we are from birth to death, but I'm trying to minimize the aggressiveness of
and
that.
You're trying to have a quality. For the length of time that you will be here, can it be a good quality of life? Don't allow me to ruin the quality of my life out of ignorance. Right?
Right.
Because here I am 72, but I have an awesome quality to my life. Because I learned at age 40 what I should and should not ingest. So that's been 32 years that I've been able to practice a vegan lifestyle. But nobody vegan brought this to me. Not really. I met my current husband, and he said, this is a lifestyle. There's vegetarianism, there's veganism. Look at this book. Okay, so thank you for showing me how I should combine my food, even though you're telling me, I'm not telling you to be this or that. I'm just saying you shouldn't eat this with that, or you should.
What book was that?
It was Fit for Life, and Fit for Life will tell you if you're going to eat protein, say for an animal protein, then you should not eat it with a carbohydrate. It's a lousy combination, i.e. a sandwich. That's a bad combination.
Meat and potatoes.
Right. It taught me that if I want to sprout my beans and eat them sprouted, I'm not going to get gas. But beans are both a carbohydrate and a protein. So when you cook it and you eat it, you're always blowed up and gaseous, aren't you? If you eat gas, beans give you gas?
Yep.
Beans usually give most people gas. But then we turn around and eat the beans with rice, bread, all kind of stuff, that poor combination. So that's pretty much, that was what Fit for Life was about. Let me just teach you how to eat these combinations. I'm not going to tell you not to eat the meat. I'm going to say to you, if you're going to eat the meat, eat it with a salad.
Who wrote that book?
Harvey and Marilyn Diamond.
Black or white people?
White.
That's another thing I
White.
want to talk about.
Yes.
We were talking about racism and veganism. And it's interesting that you said that. And I'm not trying to push color, but what we're seeing in this
being
industry
real with what's happening
is that we are now seeing a push for people of color in the vegan sphere, because it's been around forever. It just hasn't been highlighted.
Right.
And so this is just another way for people to colonize veganism. This is not a white practice. This is not a white lifestyle. This is a healthy lifestyle for whether you're brown, purple, black, yellow.
It's actually for your particular species.
There you go. We're all human.
Not your particular color.
Yeah.
Guess what?
You're not a lion.
If there was something going on and you were a Caucasian person and you needed a kidney and we matched up, this black person could share her kidney with you. And the kidney would not mean that you're about to turn black. How about that? The kidney is just a kidney because it's coming from a human that matches you in a way. But guess what? Check this out. It all started with melanin. You can always get white from black. You can never get black from white. Understand that. So we all one anyway, y'all. We all related. It's a little bit of me in you and a little bit of you in me. Don't forget it and stop with the ignorance. But when it comes to veganism and racism, there's been enough of that going on for the number of years. It's been enough of that, and it's over.
And that's
It's time to be over.
Like, unfortunately, like, well, we were a part of Peeled.
Yes.
And the what we were a part of got flack for not having people of color as our chefs.
Exactly.
And Babette and I were like, well, we're there. But people were saying, oh, well, they're the token hosts. That was not our experience.
It definitely was not.
We would have not taken part in a project where we felt like that was the experience. And so it was very unfortunate that we had to kind of come to bat and say, well, but no. They actually did try and include people. We were dealing with COVID, and so we had a chef of color who got sick and wasn't unable to shoot. So it ended up being 4 white chefs and 2 people of color as the hosts. And it got a lot of flack. And people were saying, oh, well, this is racism and veganism. And I could see that perspective, but it wasn't what the push was. And what we're trying to say here is often we are met with seeing a lot of cookbooks or a lot of movements in veganism that had a white individual as the forefront. And
it's even like with there have been so many times my manager has tried to get me a show. I mean, I've even stated I'm gonna have a show. It's just places like the Food Network and places like that years ago, they just were not interested in, number 1, veganism, and number 2, a black vegan chef. It just wasn't the lick.
I remember the Food Network is predominantly...
Now we got... what's her name?
Tabitha.
Does she still have the show?
I don't think so. And I think that she kind of had some...
She had some issues.
She had some issues, and I don't want to make an assumption, but what it sounded like to me as a viewer of her...
They wanted her to be less black. Less Southern black lady.
Less mammy style black. Well, I don't know if you know, but that is Tabitha Brown. That's how she speaks.
North Carolina.
She's a Southern black woman. Right. Like, you cannot take that culture out of her.
But what about the Caucasian chef woman that was with her sons on TV, and she said something about she made a racist comment and they ended her show.
Oh, that
you remember her?
Oh yeah, that Southern lady.
Yes, but she was Southern. They didn't have a problem with the way she spoke.
That's true.
Yeah, so why are you messing with Tab?
All you got to do is say one negative thing about black people. You take it off the network, because network got a lot of flack for that.
Well, because it was insensitive and horrible. She was talking about maids and butlers at her big food event. Of course she was.
People are embarrassed.
And it's 2023, y'all.
And I do want to say that not all organizations are like that, because like our friends at Mercy for Animals, I think really...
They have loved me forever. Mercy for Animals, they put me on the map.
Yep. And I think there are some organizations that, yes, may be founded by white people, but really see it through a critical lens of inclusivity, accessibility.
And they're serious about protecting animal life.
Yep.
And not eating animals. They don't give a damn who shows up and says, don't eat animals. Yep. They need representatives in every community. So they're not being racist about it. But you do have some that feel like it's pretty much exclusive to one race of people, and it is not.
And so what I want to say to our communities of color is that we are inviting you to a way of life that is not just predominantly white. We want you to break through this barrier.
But wait a minute, look how many, what do they say? Blacks right now happen to be the highest number of people transitioning to a vegan diet of any other race. Right now, we're cleaning up our diet. All we needed to do was wake up. Can you, that word woke?
You can.
Woke. And understand how it all started. Mm-hmm. In Africa, it didn't start with the leftover pieces of the pig. Trust that. But we had to survive. Once we know better, we do better. And I think it should be as a whole.
Absolutely.
Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so what does your community want to take a part of? I know that they're building this 26-story pig hotel in China, because that's where they're doing a processing plant now. They're having 26 stories where it's like a pig processing
That's evil.
But the reason why it exists is because that community, the cultures
really
continue
evil.
to eat it. And mind you, this product, this pork, this pig will be shipped internationally. Don't be surprised if your pigs or your bacon comes from China. If your desire to eat that meat is so deep, just know you're not going to be getting it from U.S. soil much longer. So, and I hear people talking a whole lot of shit about China. Oh, I don't want this from China. I don't want this. I don't want.
I just looked over there and I'm
that's
like,
racist too. So, like, just watch yourself. Watch yourself. I'm just saying, like, and if you want to have that kind of control,
oh my gosh,
start eating local. Start eating vegan. Start eating healthy. Make bacon from tofu. It is possible.
So
we
possible.
just had some of that at our friend Chris's house, who we're going to be doing an interview with soon. Oh man, it was amazing. So,
anyway, that's it.
I think did
we say it?
I think
Did we
so.
talk about it?
So what
y'all
we're just
get
trying
it?
to say, community for our people of color, like, don't cling to this is my culture, this is the way I was raised, this is the way I got to eat. Do better.
And for people that are non-black, understand that this is the way the human species is supposed to eat, not just Caucasian people.
So again, to you, do better.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.